Hey everybody, welcome back. Normally when I do these videos, there's no real script to it. I just kind of pop out here during my lunch break and talk about what's on my mind. And this time around, that didn't seem like the right thing to do. I did a video, somewhat liked it, and then I got back into work and later on through the day and started to like it less because I left a few things out, and it's an important topic. It's one that deserves a little better than just winging it. So as opposed to usually when I would leave the video in the same condition as I recorded it, warts and all, this time I'm going to go and do a little revision. I'm going to pop in. I've got my notes here telling me what I want to make sure that I get across. And yeah, enjoy this director's cut edition of the Lunchcast. So someday near in the future from now, the streets will be cleared from protesters, and hopefully George Floyd's family gets the justice they deserve. And we'll probably all go back to just doing what we do, but the problem will still be there. And the problem, very simply, is this: African Americans in the United States, in the criminal justice system of the United States, do not receive fair and equal treatment. And that's the problem. That's part of a problem. Of course, racism being the larger problem. And that problem exists at all levels of the system, from being harassed by police or the use of excessive force, or even being killed, of course, all the way through the court system to where African Americans have a disparity in the kind of sentences that they get as opposed to white defendants. And of course, that doesn't even count regular citizens who take it upon themselves to work outside of the justice system and to track down and ultimately, in some cases, kill innocent black Americans who committed no crime. But for this, we're talking about that, the criminal justice system, and how it treats African Americans. And we talk about a lot of other things besides that. Somehow we end up talking about everything but that. At least, amongst ourselves. Maybe there's conversation here and there, but overall we get pulled aside by a lot of different discussions on the periphery of what the actual issue is. So we talk about whether it's right or justified to riot, loot, vandalize. And we talk about whether it's okay for athletes to kneel during the national anthem or wear a t-shirt in their warm-up drills that says "I can't breathe." Or we talk about whether protesters should be allowed to march in the street and block traffic. Or the most tired old one of them all right now is, should it be Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter? A couple other examples that I left out. The argument about whether all cops are bad or some cops are good. Got a few bad apples. And of course, people saying, well, what about this case? What about that case? In some kind of an attempt to show that these kind of things don't only happen to black people. We talk all around it, and we get worked up about those things, and we never get down to the actual issue. And we need to focus. We need to focus on the actual issue. Because all those things on the periphery, they're smoke screens. They're smoke screens that buy your silence, distract you, take your eyes off of what's really going on, what you need to pay attention to, what we need to work on, what we need to focus on. And there's people who are okay with that. I mean, you know, really when it comes down to it, you're either okay with the current state of things in the criminal justice system for African Americans, or you're not. And there's people that are. And these smoke screens help them. It buys them time. For whatever reason, they're okay with it because it's comfortable for them, doesn't bother them. Of course, there's worse reasons than that. White supremacy, all those other little things that come up. So we need to focus, see through the smoke screens, and talk about what the real problem is. I see a lot of people, I've seen a few times on Facebook anyway, people sharing that lovely meme about Mr. Rogers when he shared his kiddie pool with his black mailman friend, and how that was the first time in TV in America that a white person and a black person had shared a pool on TV. And it's a beautiful thought. It's a beautiful meme. I mean, Mr. Rogers was a beautiful human being. But I think we need to kind of process it a little deeper than just that kind of kumbaya moment. You know, the warm fuzzies we get when we hit share on that. Because I bet you Mr. Rogers faced some smoke screens when he was thinking about doing that kind of episode. I bet you people told him things that weren't the actual problem, didn't deal with the actual problem of racism in America. You know, maybe it was, well, the kids won't understand the message, or you'll get letters from angry parents, or America isn't ready for this. And he saw through all that smoke screen, everything that was thrown at him, and he did the right thing. He did the episode, even though it was going to stir up some things maybe, and he took his message and brought it to his audience. And another thing he did that I think is even more important is that he didn't see the world the way he wanted to see the world. He saw the world for what it was. You know, he could have sat back and said, well, I'm not racist. I don't believe that people are different based on the color of their skin. I believe everybody should get the same treatment. I believe in equality for our black American friends. And my crew, they're all on board too, and my friends, I got a good group of friends. We're all good. We don't think that way. So we don't need to really do much. We're good. We're on the right path. Imagine, if you will, if Mr. Rogers had only shared his kiddie pool in his actual backyard with his actual mailman instead of putting it on TV for everyone to see. See what I'm saying? And he could have just seen the world the way he wanted to see it, the way he did see things in his head, the way things should be in his head. But he didn't. He saw the world for what it really was. And I think that's important. He didn't dumb it down based on, well, I don't think that way, so, you know, we don't need to stir the pot here. Good people think this way, and there's good people out there, so everything's going to be all right. He knew that wasn't the way the world really was. And a lot of us know the world isn't really what we want to think it is today, still. And we could say, well, I'm not racist and my friends ain't racist. And I believe everybody should be treated right. I believe in equality for everybody. And if we leave it at that, we just see it the way we want things to be seen, the way we want the world to be, that'll buy more silence. And we can't be silent. So we need to see the world for what it is. It's not that nice. There's things that need to be worked on, and we need to focus on the actual problems, not the smoke screens. We need to be the people that Mr. Rogers would want us to be. The people he tried to teach us to be. You know, people my age, we grew up watching him. People my kids their age, they're not kids, 21 and about to be 19. Some of them didn't watch Mr. Rogers. My kids didn't watch Mr. Rogers, but you know, I think it's important for us to be the people that Mr. Rogers taught us to be the people that he wants us to be, to see through a smoke screen, continue, deliver the message that is based on the reality of the world, reach our audience, and do what we can. Speak up. And his audience, yeah, they were kids. They were us, little kids, you know. And the message was little kid level when he did it. It's okay to share a pool with this guy because he's black, or even though he's black, I should say. It's a simple message delivered to kids. We're all grown up now, and we have to reach our audience, the people around us, with the message that the American criminal justice system is not fair or equal for our African American brothers and sisters, and we need to change it. That's all. See you all next time. And lastly, I want to, of course, acknowledge the fact that there seems to be a whole lot of people speaking up this time around, and previous times also. So this isn't meant to shame anyone for what you are or not doing. There's plenty of ways to make a difference. You don't have to be on the front lines of a protest. There's money that you can give. There's organizations that you can volunteer for. Many things. There's plenty of posts out there about how you can help. All I'm saying is pick a lane and stick with it until we get to the finish line, because that's the important part. Not letting this go away because the media gets quiet again, and the streets get quiet again, and the George Floyd case is settled. And so with that, I will end this for real, and I will see you all next time.